Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes and welcome to a quick discussion on how best to mute strings when playing the ukulele. It's the same technique as guitarists have used down through the ages and really on any of the fretted stringed instruments where a plectrum is involved. There are a number of ways we can stop the strings from sounding. If I just use the open tuning notes on this tenor ukulele of A, E, C and G, did you notice how I muted the strings so that they were individual notes when I spoke there? I was doing that totally with my left hand. So I'm talking about these four open strings, but I want to avoid this, where they all end up ringing on together and you've sort of got that chord effect happening, even though really what you wanted was four individual notes. So a very visually obvious way of muting the strings is to use your left hand fingers to stop the strings from sounding. A less obvious way, but a very natural part of any ukulele player or guitar player's kit bag is the ability to stop strings with the edge of your right hand. So the fleshy outer part of your palm that runs along there where your little finger is, this fat sort of part of your right hand there. So if I want to play, if I want to go like bap, bap, bap on that open four-string chord, I can go like this. And I get a very clean cut to all four strings simultaneously. I'm not using my left hand at all. So you can see what I'm doing there. In my case, everyone's different, everyone's hand size is different. I just naturally, if I want to mute those strings, I'll sort of form a loose fist. My pick position remains the same. I use the index finger and the thumb crossed over. I don't change where the pick sits. The technique on, for example, the steel guitar, pedal steel guitar, dobro, lap steel is called blocking. So as steel guitar players, we refer to the ability to stop a string from ringing with our right hand as a blocking technique. Now that's a steel guitarist term, but it applies to the ukulele and the guitar. And I'm doing there essentially what I would do on pedal steel or lap steel or dobro. I'm dropping my right hand down on the strings that I want to stop. So for chord changes, if you wanted to play like a C chord to a G chord, and you didn't want them to run onto each other. So that sound where you deliberately do want them to run into each other, well, you might want to go bap, 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 bap. That's all happening with my right hand. And it's just a gentle drop of my hand onto the strings. It happens so naturally you probably can't see it there. But if I go like this, you can definitely hopefully see that it's actually not my fingers so much as right back here and right close to the bridge of the ukulele is where I'm really stopping those strings from ringing on. Now, if you've got good plectrum technique, be aware that if you're playing, for example, just a single string, if you've got good control over your pick, each new strike of the string with the plectrum by itself stops the string from ringing. Stops it from ringing and it restarts it again. So if I just play, in this case here, 4E, the second string on the tenor ukulele, 4 notes E as crotchets, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want to use my pick to make them more staccato, it's like me going, but I'm not using my left hand. I'm just being more aggressive, I guess, with how firmly I'm putting the pick back onto the string to stop it, and when I'm timing that. So if I was playing 4 crotchets of that note, 4 E's, and deliberately want him to go like ba, 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 I'm just being more gentle with my picking hand and I'm letting the full length of the note, the full duration of the timing ring out before I re-strike. Da, 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 da. But if I want to turn those crotchets into quavers, into half-beat notes, and with a half-beat rest, so half-beat note, half-beat rest, what I'm going to do now is go like this. Bap, 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 bap. And the muting of that string is occurring by the timing and the pressure applied with the plectrum. That's a very natural way to mute strings when you play. The other way, of course, is if you're playing fretted notes, is to lift. In this case, on my right hand, I'm keeping that, but I'm lifting my pressure of my finger off the string. So that's a left hand stop. It's a bit more dangerous because on your ukulele and on your guitar, there are many frets where harmonics sound naturally. So if you're playing, for example, here on your 7th fret of your ukulele, not a good idea to lift the pressure off the string there, because as you can hear, what happens is the harmonic sounds. The real note stops, but the little harmonic that's played all over the ukulele starts to ring on. So whilst it's part of our technique, you know, the dampening, the lifting and closing of our left-hand fingers, for example, on that chord there, does stop it, but it's a pretty messy way to stop it. Largely, it's done with the pick and the right hand. Now, finally for today, there is another technique that we can use where we lightly dampen the strings but don't completely mute them out, again with our right hand. So if we think of the start, for example, to dueling banjos. Now in that case there, I'm largely using the pick to stop the note before, like I've just explained to you. I'm not really doing anything with my right hand. I'm not dropping my right hand down. Okay, but I'm getting very clean notes there. But if I wanted to get this sound, so you can hear there I'm sort of now almost more like a banjo sound. What I'm doing there is you can see I've moved my right hand further forward. A minute ago I had my right hand back here and I'm picking sort of on this edge of the tone hole on the ukulele. I'm letting the notes come out nice and strong. Look what I do now. I move my right hand forward a little bit. I'm now picking more in the centre of the tone hole, and that lets, again, that important fleshy part of my right hand sit where the string joins the bridge, and now I can sort of semi-mute it. So it sort of becomes like a little banjo sound. Okay, you can make it that real little, like the violin players called pizzicato, where they actually pluck the strings instead of using their bow. So look, there's some ideas to work on how to stop the strings from ringing when you don't want them to ring on. If you're playing basic chords on the ukulele, you will just want those chords to ring on. You won't be looking at stopping the strings. But if you want to go, you can see that's happening with my right hand. Okay, I hope that's been of some use to you, and maybe you've discovered just another little series of techniques that you can work on to enjoy your music making on your ukulele. Bye for now.